Hey everyone, I, Zak Wolf, have another one of my Berenstain Bears book to TV episode comparisons for you all. And what's the title? The Berenstain Bears and the Bad Dream. Yep, the same one I did a YouTube poop of over 8.5 years ago. The Berenstain Bears and the Mysterious Nightmare. When this book was originally written and published in 1988, it was adapted to an episode of the 2003 Nelvana animated series on PBS. They changed a lot. Some of it not for the better. One big difference is how the Space Grizzlies franchise is portrayed. Look at this. In the book, Space Grizzlies is a popular action figure line, not unlike other similar popular toy lines in the 1980s, like G.I. Joe, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Mobile Armored Strike Command, or MASK, Transformers, the list goes on. Like a typical 80s boy, Brother Bear is really into Space Grizzlies, while Sister Bear thinks they are dumb and a little scary. Mama usually doesn't mind them, unless Brother brings them to the dinner table or leaves them on the stair. And Papa doesn't care about them one way or the other. While the TV adaptation, Space Grizzlies is instead a serialized weekly TV series. Not unlike Buck Rogers or whatever. And so the name Space Grizzlies is more accurate compared to the book of all these crazy fantasy alien creatures. And the Bear family's tradition each week on the evening it airs, presumably in prime time, is to have a family night where they make a nice snack, such as celery sticks with cheese, honey squares, peanut butter banana roll-ups. Oh, excuse me. Then they have said snack while watching the program, and afterwards they play a game together. The days before technology really began to take over families' lives. See what I mean? Yeah. But back to the Bad Dream. Now in the book, it's not mentioned there's a Space Grizzlies TV show. But if there is, it's probably one of those syndicated after-school cartoon shows that's basically promoting the toy line, like those other franchises I mentioned. That's the case. Maybe each episode ends with a life lesson or safety tip segment at the end before the credits roll, like knowing is half the battle. But instead, this book mentions there being a Space Grizzlies movie that Brother wants to see. No doubt based off that animated Transformers movie from 2 years earlier. Also, as I mentioned, in the TV series, that is, in the Berenstain Bears series, Sister Bear is also into the Space Grizzlies, as it's a serialized action show, not a toy line aimed at boys as seen here. And when Brother wants Sister to play Space Grizzlies with her, Sister drives a hard bargain in offering to have Brother play paper dolls, jacks, and beanbags with her first. And of course, Brother finds them boring while Sister enjoys them. But after that, though, when they play Space Grizzlies, Sister is enjoying it as well. But that could be because she's playing with Brother. The way it's drawn, it reminds me of the cover for Get in a Fight, except that one, only Brother is smiling. Oh, and since Brother's playing with Sleezo, the evil king of the universe, that brings him something else in the TV adaptation. The name Sleezo is also used for the evil villain there, but he's just an evil mastermind bear who keeps cackling like the Joker or something whenever he's on camera. And it's when he gets introduced into the Space Grizzlies series that Sister gets afraid. But instead of finding the whole franchise a little scary, as she does in the book, she only finds Sleezo frightening. After all, he is a villain with a freaky maniacal laugh. But back to the book. It mentions the Space Grizzlies movie is opening the next day. And brother, of course, wants to see it, but sister doesn't. But Papa says, that's no problem. There are lots of movies to choose from. The narration mentions the Bear Country Theater was really 4 movie houses in one, and there were usually 4 different movies playing. The days of early multiplex movie theaters, compared to nowadays where we can have cinemas with more than 20 screens. So while brother goes to see the Space Grizzlies movie with his friends the next evening, Mama and Papa and sister go see a family musical film called The Magic Toe Shoes, which are kind of like that magic feather from Disney's Dumbo. But the toe shoes are for a young ballerina who wiggles and wobbles when on her toes. But then after leaving said toe shoes on the bus by mistake, the old ballet master tells her that the toe shoes weren't magic, and the skill is in her all along, and she dances beautifully ever after. The Space Grizzlies movie doesn't get as much coverage of the plot, though. Just mentioning how they zap and zoom through space until that final intergalactic shootout. Like your typical sci-fi epic. I like how it says the movie is very exciting and not a little scary. Like italics. Compare that neat stuff to the TV version, where a week after Sleezo was introduced, sister's not as enthusiastic about the family night due to her fear of the new Space Grizzlies villain. It is then when she finally talks to Mama about it, in a fairly heartwarming scene.
You're not too fond of Sleezo, are you?
He kind of scares me.
Well, the important thing to remember is that when you're afraid of something, it always helps to talk about it. Sometimes that makes it not so scary.
I've been having bad dreams about Sleezo, Mama. In one of my dreams, he came right out of the television, laughing that scary laugh.
Too bad we don't get to see sister's dream there. But in the book, we do. As the narration says, it was dark when the bear family got home, so it was off to bed for the cubs. It was already late for sister, and he went right to sleep. And shortly before brother dozes off, sister wakes up screaming, claiming the Space Grizzlies are after her. But she doesn't hear brother telling her it's only a dream. Brother thinks, the little silly. Imagine being afraid of a dopey dream. Oh, just wait and see, brother. And unlike in the TV version, this one, Papa Bear even uses the word nightmare. You're saying that's the word for a bad dream. Yeah, a lot of media and young kids like this still stick with bad dream instead of nightmare. And sister also says about her nightmare, but it was so real. And Papa explains how dreams are like that, but they are only just in your mind. And yeah, I do remember how sometimes dreams can feel pretty real, but some other cases I can get aware that they are a dream. A lucid dream, if you... Alright, so anyways, since Space Grizzlies is a toy line and major motion picture instead of a TV show, Sister's nightmare is different, involving her as a dancing ballerina, with the stage becoming a giant beanbag hole that the Space Grizzlies come out of, and then she falls down one of the holes, sort of like that Tom Petty song. Look at how one of the Space Grizzlies appears to be a regular fox. Or maybe a coyote or something. It's hard to tell. And then they talk about how dreams work, which the TV version completely omits, as it focuses more on how you should talk about your fears with someone, as it can help. And if something on TV frightens you, then you don't have to watch it, demoting the actual bad dreams to a minor side thing. Yeah, good life lesson and all, but what if it's all the older nightmare fuel clips on Sesame Street frightening you? That show's meant to educate kids and get them prepared for starting school, not send them crying for their mommies. But of course, today Sesame Street is all practically sugar-coated sweetness, and they pretty much stopped making scary segments and stories after the 1990s. And then in the book version here, Mama Bear tells Sister about how dreams work in a manner easy for our kids to understand. She says, you see, even though you go to sleep, your mind keeps right on thinking, but it doesn't think in a sensible way. It takes all the things you were thinking or were nervous about during the day and puts them together, jumbled like a mixed-up jigsaw puzzle. And such elements include the ballet dancer from the movie, the beanbag board from playing beanbags with Brother, and the Space Grizzlies from playing that stuff with Brother and seeing the movie poster. Now, I don't know about that, but my dreams often involve stuff that I was not thinking or nervous about during that day, sometimes featuring completely random material, and sometimes it can get really bizarre and leave me waking up still tired. But then, of course, Brother wakes up screaming. And he's having a weird Space Grizzlies nightmare as well, acting just like Sister was. How hypocritical. And like Sisters, it combines elements that were previously seen in the story, with Brother's dinner turning into Space Grizzlies, gigantic ones, and they chase Brother, who turns into a paper doll and his clothes fly off. Brother as a paper doll looks so weird here. He looks almost like an anime character. And of course, Brother says the dream felt so real, and so Sister explains to Brother what Mama and Papa told her about how dreams are. And then it ends. Now, in the TV version, even though Brother isn't scared of watching Sleazo and Space Grizzly series, and he even makes a clay figure of him, he still has bad dreams about Sleazo, and we get to see one of them, but it's very different, but still very surreal. Take a look.
The snacks!
Pretty weird, huh? And like in the book, it incorporates another element that according to the story, i.e. the family night snacks, and a Brother tells Sister about the dream.
I have been too. This time, it was a whole bunch of Sleazos chasing me. Then I got stuck, and there was this big banana roll-up rolling toward me. Whew, pretty scary. Well, maybe it wasn't so scary. Now that I told you about it, it's kind of silly, really.
See? Talking about it does help.
Yep, that was a pretty good life lesson. When you're wide awake after the nightmare and telling someone about it, the dream could sound more silly than scary or whatever. And then after that, the TV version ends with their modified Sleazo figure partaking in a pretend game of marrying Sister's Barbie doll in an intergalactic wedding. And look at those background action figures. Here are the Space Grizzlies from the book. A nice little reference there. But even so, this book version is way more better than how the story was drastically changed for the TV show. They may as well name the episode something else, since it didn't have as much in common with the book. Now, the 80s series by Southern Star was still in production at the time, and they adapted that story. It probably would have been a more faithful adaptation, as in very rare cases did that show's adaptations of the books differ greatly from the original story. Though, as I said, the 2003 series still had some pretty faithful adaptations of books, but not this one. Plus, given this book was published in 1988, I have reason to believe Stan and Jan Berenstain came up with this one in response to Transformers, the movie from a couple years earlier, and how it apparently scared a lot of kids of its deaths and violence and such, in a much darker tone than its TV series. It's very likely, since after all, in 1999, Stan and Jan wrote this book here in response to the Beanie Baby fad in the late 90s. But this one is for another time, and it wasn't adapted into the PBS series either, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a few more book comparisons over time, along with a few other sort of fursuit videos. But on the subject of the Berenstain Bears, I'm currently working on a new YouTube poop featuring them. In fact, it should be uploaded later today. Watch for it. It is somewhat of a rehash from an older Berenstain Bears poop that used to be up here many years ago, but updated with my better editing techniques and software. Stay tuned to see that, and any other future fursuit vlogs on my channel.